When we meet, he's casually dressed in jeans and a Batman t-shirt. Scam Survivors is not an official platform. In the UK, victims are encouraged to contact Action Fraud, but the team has dealt with 20,000 cases in the past 12 years. He claims that according to there were 1.9 million reports of cyber-related fraud in the year ending March 2017 in England and Wales. In the flesh, Wayne May, not his real name, is an affable gentleman in his late 40s, softly spoken with a lilting Welsh accent. But a lot of the scams aren't high-tech, they simply write messages to people and that's it. You might think, I'm not going to fall for this scam, but then you'll fall for another one. But the report also says that many incidents go unreported. This says nearly $13M, £8 million, $10 million, has been lost this year to romance fraud alone. Scamming may be an old trick, but it's still an effective one. He regularly receives death threats, and his website, Scam Survivors, is often subjected to attempted DDoS attacks, where our site is maliciously hit with lots of web traffic to try to knock it offline. But Mr. May is determined to continue helping scamming victims in his spare time, and has a team of volunteers in the US, Canada and Europe doing the same. He works full-time as a carer. On the net, he's a tireless defender of scam victims and a fearless scam baiter, a person who deliberately contacts scammers, engages with them, and then publishes as much information about them as possible in order to warn others. The scammers will find a chink in your armor. The first thing Mr. May has to explain to those who get in touch, is that scam survivors cannot recover any money the victim has been persuaded to hand it over. Mr. May, who does not charge but invites donations on his website, says his website gets up to 10,000 hits a day, and the group also receives up to 24 messages a day from people who are victims of sextortion, when a person is blackmailed after being persuaded to carry out a sex act on webcam, which is then recorded. A lot of people, when they come to us, are already so far deep into it, they have nowhere to turn, he says. They're not stupid, they're just unaware of the scam. It's not obvious that it's a scam, if they've never experienced it before. He discovered he was rather good at baiting romance scammers, and found relatives of victims were approaching him to help loved ones. I started dealing more with the victims of the scams rather than the scammers themselves, so my priorities changed then from just having fun to actually helping people. Many scams are not a particularly sophisticated form of fraud. There are constantly new scams coming out, and we need to be aware of those, says Mr. May.